Welcome to the Sovereign State of Mind. Today with me, there's Pirate Singh, brother Chatakai Singh, and Gurdit Singh, the Ragrai Singh. Today we're going to be talking about growing up as Nihang Singhs in the UK, and why is it important, how has it changed, the scene changed, and going forward, where are we looking at? So one reason why we think it's really important to talk about it is because you look back 10 years ago and the UK was a completely different place. You know, you go to, right now we've got a Kali Dura coming up in December, but you go back 10 years, to have a program was a big thing. To be able to do Artiyata, our program was a huge thing. It was huge. If it happened, there'd be pictures going up. It was a huge controversial kind of thing. Doing Programa was a huge thing.
Even having Jot, man.
Even having Jot was a big thing. I remember there was a big thing in Peterborough about, us talking about, can we even, what's the problem with the Jotam? They were kicking off. Now, but these type of struggles, I don't think the youth now will understand, and it's important to talk about it and see how it's progressed, why it progressed, and where we're actually going. So 10 years ago, what was your experience, and how were you perceived by the UK Sangat?
Right. So I'll say one of the main things that sticks out for me is 10, 15 years ago, if you were to tell someone you're a Nihang Singh, they would immediately associate you with Nidar Singh. And anything like, we all know like whatever Putekam, whatever that them lot were doing. So they would associate you with, oh, you're Nihang Singh, so you go KFC and, you do X, Y, and Z, whatever. So, yeah, I think that kind of like prejudice kind of thing, if you were to tell someone you're a Nihang Singh, they would immediately associate you with that. And like you said, like the Parkarma thing and pretty much everything to do with Nyangta, it was kind of like an outlaw type thing in mainstream circles. It was seen as like, oh my God, why are you doing Parkarma that way? That's not the right way to do it. And you have people telling you, don't do it that way. That's not the right way. You have to do it the way that everyone else does it. So it's everything like that, basically. Every part of Nyangta, they would pretty much be like, no, that's wrong. That's not the way we do it. So, you should do it our way.
You've always been convinced that, don't worry. You think, oh, this is good. You think that Nihang Singhs are this, that, and the other. But it's got to do some with like the reputation that Nandar Singh had built in the UK. I know that again, Singhs just do what they want to do and believe in this, believe that, and whatnot. But people would just think, oh, it's a bit of a phase that he's going through.
Yeah, they would think you're brainwashed pretty much.
They think that, okay, and they'd actually get worried for you.
Yeah.
Someone like growing up in, I remember, they'd actually pull you to a side and be like, no,
Yeah,
you okay? This, you sure? Like what you're doing is not right.
I've had the same
and it would be so confusing to process, and you'd start thinking, am I doing something wrong here? This Barney, the way that we do. All right, back then, I think like 10 years ago for us, the Barney side of things, like the Gyan side of things and the Maryada side of things weren't there, right? So I can understand why people felt that way. Because if you were to ask a question then, we wouldn't really have an educated answer. It would be a guess, I think.
I agree.
We were young as well, innit?
Yeah.
There weren't many older Nihang Singhs about. And again, 10 years ago, like, having phones and everything like that, you'd have to see them in real life.
Yeah, it was difficult getting access to like any sort of
or
materials.
like resources,
Yeah.
But growing up and being accepted as a Nihang Singh, you were seen as an outsider.
Yeah, I mean, I remember actually my family pulling me to a side and says,
that was a big thing.
Tu Nihang Singh banna, tenu pata ho deg shakde hai.
Absolutely,
tenu pata ho sharab peende hai. Tenu pata ho ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਉਹ ਝਟਕਾ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ
ਬੰਦੇ ਨੂੰ ਮਾਰਦੇ
ਤੈਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਉਹ ਯਾ ਗਲਾ ਵੱਢ ਦੇਣਾ ਤੇਰਾ ਤੇ ਪੈਸੇ ਫਿਰ ਇਦਾਂ they made literally you listen to the stuff and you're like, this is just made up, because I've stayed there and none of them did any of this stuff. None of them threatened me. I wasn't kidnapped, I wasn't killed. And but that's what this is the because I don't think it's all Nidar Singh. Some of them are actually some of it just uneducated like propaganda or uneducated kind of ways of thinking, because there was other personalities in the UK that actually made had a bad influence as well. And there was also people from Punjab who've had I won't say bad they didn't have a bad experience. They just had zero experience,
Mm-hmm,
and it's just what they hearsay. Because my dad actually, dadi dada told me about this, and they said ਜਦੋਂ ਹੁਣ ਨਿਹੰਗ ਸਿੰਘ ਸਾਡੇ ਪਿੰਡ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਸੀ, and for they used to come every year. They always used to give them fussel. Then the one year they didn't do it, and they burnt the fussel down, and they were like that. From that, some people started speaking bad about Nihang Singhs.
Yeah.
But then they're all, now they, you know, they've read Prakash, they've read Surya Prakash. They're like, look, the Nihang Singhs now are not doing this. This is what the Panth have been doing for ages.
Yeah.
Like this is the way it is.
Yeah.
All sada Jummabari banda si to give them you know, Kayat Fasal. We didn't know about Jummabari, so they did what they had to do.
That's it.
But and I think this is the change. The reason why they could read Panth Prakash is because they have access to these resources.
That's it. Yeah.
Back then, they
that's a
didn't
big
have
deal. Yeah.
And how about what programs used to happen 10 years ago? I can't really think. I think Judgement was one of the first ones. You know, the one in
Baba Sang,
Baba Sang. That was
that was big.
Yeah.
That was big.
Yeah.
Is there any other ones that you can think of?
I remember. Well, I don't know if you probably even further than that. Like I remember Prakash Program happening because that's where we met Nihang Sings for the first time.
That's right. Yeah.
Back in before 2012, because that's when Babri came.
Yeah, before that. Yeah.
2009 maybe, because that's when Navjeet Singh come back from India. 2008, I think Navjeet Singh come back.
Yeah, and it was pretty much just him and one or two other Singhs.
Like there was you know the names. You know there was Jagga Singh. There's up in Nihang Singh.
Yeah.
You know from Birmingham, who's still doing Prachar to this day. Doing a really good job and everything. So they were the guys that you'd look at, and you'd look at them and be like, okay, I've seen these guys and I know that they're not just like, they actually go to India as well. They stay with Nihang Singhs. They're the real deal. Exactly. They go there and stay there. So when we saw Navjeet Singh for the first time, like we didn't have to approach them either. Really,
Yeah.
we looked at them from afar and we were like, oh my god, there's Nihang Singhs there.
But it was all very welcoming as well.
Yeah, man.
It wasn't like you know.
Never saw nothing like it.
Yeah. It was much more welcoming than you would expect, kind of thing, because the Roop is obviously so
Intimidating.
Exactly. Yeah. So,
but it was also very like enticing. Like you wanna go to it. You just wanna stand there. And like for me at least, I just want to stand there and just look at them.
It's like a fire.
Yeah.
It was really like literally because like I remember it because it was Amrit Villa. It was just past like 12 o'clock, maybe it was 1 o'clock. They were the only ones awake.
Yeah,
right.
Everyone else.
Prakash Program was happening. Everything was going on. These guys had just had a tent set up to themselves. Right. One Singh was doing Nithanim. Right. And again, never seen Nithanim happen like that.
Yeah.
Right. One Singh was doing just like they had a little
Jot,
Jot.
Toof.
There was a Jot. There was Toof. One Singh was doing a Ragara. And you just look at it and you just think, I've never seen nothing like this. What is this? This is cool. I've heard of Nihang Singhs, but I've never seen anything. Not in the UK.
How did the Sangha react to this kind of them having the tent and this Nihang Singhs being there in general? Even though there's a few of them, was there a lot of Sangha coming to see him, or what was it?
Well, I think that at the time
it was
that
attraction,
we,
no,
yeah,
it was more an attraction. Like look,
it was. I think it was 50-50.
Yeah,
it was kind of like some people were like, "Oh wow, yeah, like I want to go and check this out and see what they're about," but some people would like still had that preconception, and that's all that was in their brain, and they're like, "Oh, these Nihang Singhs, they're here, bloody hell, man!" Like. You know,
they were just seen as troublemakers. That's all it was.
Yeah.
Like I remember, like we've had run-ins with the security there. Where literally they walk over to you and be like, "What are you guys doing?" And they're like, literally look at everything. What you got here? What's this? What's that?
You hide your phones.
Yeah. You're just like, but yeah. Now, like I said, when we met him for the first time, at least welcoming.
I mean, and this is why I think it's so important to talk about it, because there might be like a young version of us at home in an isolated place. We're not in Birmingham or London where they can do Sangat and Nihang Singhs, but they might be, I don't know, say Cardiff or I can't think of an isolated place. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they might not have Sangat of Nihang Singhs, and they might not have Sangat that actually, if they want to come into become a Nihang Singh, they might get not put off, but they might have Sangat that'll tell them otherwise.
Yeah.
So this, hopefully they can hear our stories, because what I found really the reason why we're all here is because our stories into Sikhi is completely different. Our stories into getting into how we got into Nihang are completely different. Which hopefully there might be someone there at home realizing, you know what, I can become a Khauta, from being where I am by doing these things, by taking these steps, and they can relate to the story.
Absolutely, man.
Like because I'm from Peterborough. That's an isolated place. I should have just given my hometown.
True.
But the way I got it is, when I used to go Hajur Sahib a lot. I'm immensely thankful to my grandparents, and all that, I could never thank them enough. I could never give that day back. But what they've done for me, I'm never gonna forget. They took me every single year, and sometimes I've always appreciated it, but I never knew how important it's going to be until now. And I look back and I'm like, you know, that changed my life completely. And for that, I'm forever going to be grateful for him. But some people might not have the opportunity to do that. Some people might be from like a AKJ background, a Nihang Sings background. They might be from a Tuksal background. And we have all these backgrounds in our dal.
Yep.
So that's why I think it's really important to talk about it. So how did you get into Sikhi, or how did yourselves get into Sikhi?
Well, for me, my upbringing in my family were basically just standard Sikh parivar, you know? So like always Kestari and strict vegetarians at the time.
You're the Chutkai Singh.
Yeah, that's it. So it was to a point where we weren't even allowed to get like the fake meat sausages and like bacon or whatever because Jeev Daswad, isn't it? So you can't do that. So so my upbringing was very much like a traditional Sikh parivar, you know, would raise their kids. And I went to India a couple of times with my granddad. Went to all the gurdware, all the standard normal mainstream ones. And I remember asking like, what's that one? It's got like blue Nishan sahibs. Like, why they got blue Nishan sahibs? And granddad was like, yeah, those are Nihang Singhs. They're thoda ja vakre ya. You know, they're a bit separate from everyone else. And that kind of, you know, sparked something inside. Like, I want to know a little bit more.
You always want to know the unknown.
That's it, exactly. If someone's telling you, nah, don't go there, you don't want to go there.
It makes you want to go there. I want to know this. Especially as a kid growing up, you're like, I want to know that.
That's it. Yeah. So then also when I was little, I used to, my parents used to bring me these comic books, these Sikhi comic books. Like they always used to be about like all the battles and stuff like that, you know, or anything, all the Sakhiyan that we listened to in Suraj Prakash, Pant Prakash, all of that. It was just a kid's version. And there was like, you know, comic drawings and stuff like that, you know. And so I always used to think, well, where are these guys now? Like they look a certain way in these comic books. And they got, you know, Nila Bana, 10 foot Talwar, Kamar Kasa, everything, huh? Damalla. And a lot of them had Farle as well in the comics.
You see him in the horses as well.
Yeah,
like,
on the horses.
Like, we don't
all
see
of that,
anyone like you go around Gurdwara.
You're going to all these Gurdwara in India. I ain't seen no one like this. So then finally, well, another thing was I used to go to Baba Ajit Singh Ji, Sahibzada Baba Ajit Singh Ji Gatka Akhada here in Saatul, Hana. So that was another thing that was pushing me towards the martial aspect of Sikhi. And then, the next step into Nihangta was kind of like when we met Navjit Singh at Prakash. That was it for us. Yeah.
And then, see, some people would meet Navjit Singh and see the Nihang Singh and get put off. Was it your lagan to the history? Would you think that the fact that you've been experienced to Nihangta via them comics? Because
100%.
You saw them.
For me, definitely. It was like, okay, I found them now. These are the people that I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Now I found them. This is who they are.
Yeah, because you've seen them and you're like, okay, these are the guys.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
How about yourself?
So like I've always had my upbringing was from like Nanak really. Mother was always done Sangat Mahapurush, you know, always wanted to do Sangat Mahapurush. And then Mara Kirpana, we Baba Baldev Singh from Balandpuri have actually met us, contacted us, and you know how that all worked out and everything. So we started off with them. I never really found too much peace though. Andro, I always I felt like I wanted more. That's the only way I can describe it. Like I didn't understand a lot of things that was going on at that time. I just went with the flow, I'd guess. And I remember just seeing. I've always loved the look of Nihang Singhs. Just never knew nothing about them, no history, nothing like that. But I remember years ago, so before we met Navjit Singh and saw Nihang Singhs at Balandpuri Sahib. It was actually Guru Nanak Dal that came over. They did Gatka, Nirje Baji, they did Ragre and everything, Gatka, and I was mind blown. I remember grabbing my cousin's camera and just running out and be like, I need to take pictures of these guys. I need to have I want to meet these guys, right? And then meeting them for the first time, like the love and pyar that I got from, because I approached them and they were so welcoming. They literally just said, sit down with us. What's good? How you doing? Where you from? You know, you want to see this? Yeah, have a look at this. And I was like, oh, what would you put in that ragara? Like, what's going on in here? They were open about it. They're like, here you go. Here's this. So I really appreciate that. And I really felt like at home here, right? So I've always had an interest with Nihang Singhs. And then like me and Pirate met. We became friends, Hannah. And we happened to be at that program at Prakash maybe 2008 or 9, and then seeing them for the first time. I remember we just looked at each other like yeah, let's go over.
Yeah, that's it.
Literally, we looked at it like
it was not even a question.
Yeah,
it was just like
let's go see. And we just remember saying, do you guys need anything? Like, can we help in any way? Like, yeah, just can you grab us some jal? Grab them some jal. Do you need anything else? Or do you want to run this little thing? Can you just go onto a langar hall and get this? Yeah, man. Then remember sitting down with Navajit Singh and asking him questions, right? Like, what are you guys? I want to get into this. I've heard this about you guys. I've heard that about you guys. Again, just completely honest with me. And the big thing for me was he didn't like point me in his direction or like anything else. He just said, Gurdit, you need to go to India. You need to go to Raqaba. You need to go back to the source. You need to go back to where Buddha actually is, right? And stay there and see what it's like. And then that was it for me. I was young. I was 16, 17. And I just remember telling my mum, I'm going. I want to go. Yeah. Next time we go Bluntbury Sahib, I'm going. I had to cry to go there. I remember standing in front of my mum at the Gurdwara, like literally saying to her, like tears coming down my eyes and literally like being a little kid, just being, I need to go. My mum being worried, thinking, again, hearing all the stuff about Nihang Singhs, like how you said, like, you know what your family had told you. Exactly, like that. No, can't go. Then I spoke with Babaji, Baba Baldev Singh about it, that Babaji really want to go. And they said, go, right? So they were really open and really sort of accepting, like, okay, now he's got an interest in this. He wants to see the Panth, he wants to see the Khalsa, he should go. I remember going, staying there, and just that was it for me. Just when I stayed there, I'd seen it and just met Babaji for the first time, just seeing Nihang Singhs for the first time, just seeing the malle, their horses, the way of life, and Babaji waking up in the mornings and the divan, and how everything's just done so, everything made sense. And if I didn't understand something, ask the question and they would explain it in such a way you think, yep, all right, that makes sense. I get this. This makes sense. That's what it was for me. I had just a full-on attraction from the whole look.
When did you go Punjab?
It wasn't until a lot
after you met Navajit Singh, or year after.
I think probably like 2 years after.
2 years after. How about yourself?
Well, I never used to go often, kind of thing. I went when I was really little.
Yeah.
In the late 80s, I went, and then it was kind of like when I was 21.
Okay.
Went with my dada, and the first time I went to the Dal was, I don't know how many years ago now, but it was after I was 21. It was probably when I was about 27, I think.
Okay, yeah.
By the time I was already into Nihang, all of that, because Babaji had already visited here. So then I went to India afterwards. So mine was a bit delayed compared to Gurdit's.
Because you were at uni at the time as well.
Yeah, I was at uni.
That was a
and
big
all
thing.
that.
You were studying at the time. I was Billa, like, so school holidays would be like, all right, we're going to India. And then convince my mum, okay, can you drop me off to Raqaba?
So when you go India and you come back, what was the difference? So, you've been there, like when I used to go to Hajur Sahib, like it's called Sachkhand for a reason. Yeah. I used to Baba Prem saying, see all the Fauj, and you feel like, this is the Khalsa, this is Sachkhand. I am part of something beautiful.
Yeah.
And you
feel a part of something, exactly.
Yeah. You're given responsibilities.
Because you got the uniform as well,
you got the uniform.
You can,
and they give you seva, so you're part of something bigger, and you do something. And prem bhi dikhonde, they shout you up. Oh, prem na.
Well, you see that pratap in them. That's the other big thing that I never felt like with Mahapurush, but within the Sangata, I always felt like, again, just wanted more.
See, and this is the thing with Hajur Sahib. This is what Hajur Sahib, the Sangata at Hajur Sahib, they worship Nihang Singhs. The ones that are local there. When they get Panj Singh to come to do, Langar Shakona, they like Nihang Singhs, and they will worship him like Guru Gobind Singh Ji. The Aarti Sachi, like
they understand that.
And when I come here and then I do Purkama and you go to a darbar where you feel like everyone hates you. It's like, because I'm from Peterborough, everyone there was still okay. Then when I was like 17, 18, I went out for the first time, like, there's a camp. And I went to, I don't want to mention the name, but I went to the camp. And it's just like I did Program, I did everything. And everyone was like, so you're a Nihang? I'm like, yeah. And
just the way they approach you.
Yeah, just weird. Everyone, I realized they treat everyone else differently.
Yeah.
And then me was
you would stick out like a sore thumb.
Yeah, so they wouldn't ask me my name, like, also, you're Bunga Singh. What? I don't like. I'm still 16, 17 now. I'd be able to slap him in the face. But back then, you don't understand what's going on. Like, is this out of respect, or is this what? Because I've only ever seen Nihang Singhs worship.
That's what I feel like as well. Like sometimes you think, are they actually being respectful?
Yeah.
Because you sort of question, or is it just like sort of being sarcastic here?
So what did you feel like when you came back?
I mean, I feel like I didn't go out too much. Like when I did go out to India and I went and I managed to get out to Rakaba and stay there for a while, coming back, I kind of fell back into like just meeting Navjeet Singh, meeting Jagga, just being with them. So I was in a little circle, right? For me, it really felt like okay, but then dealing with the home life, that's when I started to feel like okay, my mum's starting to see not a difference, but he's waking up like super early, like they're doing the Jakara a bit different, like the Bana staying on, like okay, and then when the Deg started coming, when the Shidi Ragre started happening and what, Hana, that's where I felt it on by myself, like maybe not back then because I was young, Hana. I kind of I didn't take it too seriously. I wanted it, but again, not being that mature and everything. But then I got to a point where it felt like to me, I need to be 100% in this. Like my Nithanem I need to wake up on time. My Nithanem so at least I'm showing my family that look, he's not just basically just going off and just dressing up a certain way and just doing certain things, but not really following Sikhi. What Maharaj is saying, that way, do your Nithanem, Naam Japana, all of those sorts of things. When I started putting those two together, that's when family life sort of became like, okay, you know what, my son's all right.
Bilkul. This is literally the exact same with me. Because when I got into it, it was a weird situation because my dadaji's always wanted me to be Nihang Singh.
Nice,
always.
yeah.
So I've always had that good thing, but like good influence, and he's to this day it's still always been encouraging. But then my daddy and mum, it's not that they discourage me, but they're always scared. They're like, you know, like
you can understand why, innit?
Yeah, they're like, tere biyah bhi karna, like all like all stuff like, how is everyone gonna like see you? Like are you gonna start like killing goats? Like and like yeah, but what about the goat? Like how about the blood? And how about loads of questions like okay on when we're gonna go to this program, like see bande de kar jana, they like all dressed up nicely and you're just like your bana jaggi, and they didn't say it in a way saying like that, but they just wanted me to look good. And when they understood, Bana da jada satkar hunda, and it depends how you carry yourself, and
absolutely.
And it's not just that Hardeep Singh is doing it for Shank. It's because this is the way the
because that's what it was looked at, right? When we first got into it, I guess all of us, it was just like, oh no, it's a phase.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a little phase that he's going into. He's got into himself, and don't worry, he'll grow out of it.
Yeah. They say Punjabi, oh Shank hai, Shank pura karna de. Fir jadon biyah ho gaya fir dekhde hain.
Literally, that's what it was. Don't worry, when you get to like that age, you're just gonna tum suit pavenga, tum ye karega. And I was like, yeah, nah. Because again, like we had that from Babaji, right?
Yeah.
Like Babaji really enforced that in us, but in a really nice way. Not like you have to do this, but Babaji was just straight up with us. Like we were saying that Babaji was just saying to us, none of you Nihang Singhs, there's a bana nahi paunde. Just that, because we would say to Babaji, oh, kam te jaida, and we wear bana when we go to program hunda. We would just tell them straight, and we'd be like, yere Nihang Singh tuse fir.
That's a good point. I think for me as well, like with Babaji, anything they would say to you would be just straight. If you like it or not, it don't matter. They're gonna just tell you straight.
But just
not in a mean way,
nah,
but just
exactly.
like look, the
eye-opening
facts.
where you just think that's the truth. I can't argue this. I can't get angry at this. It's the truth.
Yeah.
A lot of Nihang Singhs in general are like that in India, because when you have not debates, when you talk to them and you want to like have a I can't think of an example, but there's been times when I'm like, look, I think this is right, and they're like, but if this is right, how about this? And you're just there like you have nothing to say. There's no jawab. Like one example was with me, like I was like, look, mera asi umar tela, like or sometimes I wake up sometimes like I was saying like I got to school, and the school aren't came like I have to do this, I have to do that, and he was like yeah, but Guru Sahib Surya Amritala jado jang hunde si,
when they were talking about Maharaj and Asadiwar and Jang and everything, you think to yourself, yeah,
God damn it, this is embarrassing.
And
then you're like, okay, you know.
And then when you see the little Pajangi Singhs doing it as well,
Oh yeah.
when you see like literally they've not got no parents, no mothers, nothing around them, and literally the Khalsa is raising them.
And that's another thing. When you go there and you've not got shoes on, and your feet are killing.
Yeah.
You want your head like everything in your brain is saying put some shoes on, put some jumpers on.
Yeah.
And then you see this, you open your eyes and you see this little kid like just jumping off horse,
running around, doing his thing.
somersaults.
Yeah.
That's it.
And then you're like, oh,
Obviously,
no,
like-
I can't do this.
But again, growing up and seeing that, and like your question, like when you come back to the UK, then
yeah,
you want to try
You wanna
and
try to do it, yeah.
reenact that.
Yeah,
You want to be
emulate.
like, I'm gonna
Yeah.
do this. I'm gonna get horses. I'm gonna look into this.
Yeah,
I want to
yeah.
do this. And yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna tell my work lot, nah, forget your uniform. I'm doing this.
But
Yeah.
that's
But
for life,
yeah,
bro.
but it became but Bella it used to become a very like cutter.
Mm.
Became very cutter in those sort of ways. But then you found out cutter ain't the way. There's some things, yeah, you need to have principles. You need to have like stand for what is what, but can't force certain things. Like Sajje, Holly,
Good
it develops into something. I know.
That's it.
It's so true. That's so mad. Like this is going off topic, but like we're talking about horses and all the other stuff that we always wish to have, especially when we come back from India.
Yeah.
Mm.
When we're looking in the future now, because we've got the infrastructure now, and all us things are we're older and we're organized now.
We've been back and forth. We've done programs. You know what I mean? Yeah.
It's
Babaji's been
now
here.
it's a
Stayed with.
possibility
Yeah,
to do
exactly.
these things.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like what we were thinking, because when you come back from India, you are right. You just want to,
I'm taking over the world, man.
Yeah, take
Yeah,
over the world.
Literally, nothing's gonna stop me. Everyone's this, everyone's that. You get like, you get the Buddha Dal blues.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
You come back and you sit back, that's sara jhootha hai,
Yeah,
yaar,
sara
man,
mithya, yeah.
no, come on,
Sara
man,
kal
like,
jugda para,
yeah.
man.
I would say for me, like when I was there, it was like everything was still, right? When you were Babaji and the Fauj, everything's still and shant. It's like you're in the middle of a twister, like a tornado, yeah? Like everything in the middle is just chilling. It was like that. And then when you leave there, it's like you're in the dunya de chakran
Yeah.
again, That's how it
good
felt for
analogy.
me.
'Cause you're
When I
staying
go
with the
there, it's
Fauj
just
there, innit?
peaceful, man. It's just like,
Yeah.
I want to stay here because I don't want to be in all these chakkar, When you leave, then you're back into that same.
Yeah.
But that's what we've got now. Like we're confident within ourselves. I think, like for me at least, like I felt confident there. I felt really like brave there.
100%.
You know what I mean? Like okay, yeah, there was certain limit to it because obviously you're between all these Nihang Singhs that are just you look at me like, okay, I'm not gonna say nothing to you.
You've killed someone.
Yeah, you've
killed someone.
you've been jail.
You've killed 5 people.
You've done this. Okay, I've heard this. But
You haven't
still,
killed someone, you probably will.
yeah, you've got that look, yeah. But you feel like, okay, I'm a part of these guys. I'm here. I'm one of them. You leave there and then you're just like, when you get to the airport, you're like, yo, like, bro,
Yeah.
where's all the names? Where's the Fauj at?
It's
What's
because
going on?
when you're there, you feel like you're Podge. And then
Yeah.
when you go on the airplane, you're surrounded by civilians.
Yeah.
man.
And that's the
it.
only way to...
You get the little
Yeah.
entertainment screen. You start watching TV. You start like, all of that, and you just like, see, I'm back to like.
Yeah, no.
You just feel like, but that was it. Growing up, it felt like, this is bad, and you feel like this conflict within yourself that kitchen you one way, and then the Western world's kitchen you one way, but then sticking with it is the best thing.
100%.
Having that sangat around you, like luckily, bro, I had you. We come into it together.
Yeah,
So for me and him, it was a journey together. Like,
Yeah.
I went after him, but before him, sorry, but we shared it. We shared,
still
we
on the
shared that
same
journey,
wavelength,
innit? And then I had like Navjeet Singh, Jagga Singh, and around me to like who had already been to India, seen Mahapurk, seen all the, like Dal Pant Khed and everything, to like ask them questions because they had generally been and they knew what they were talking about as well, right? And it just you felt safe. But in the outside world, I felt like, I can't stand up on my own 2 feet. Like, okay, if someone asks me a question, I'm not going to know. And how stupid that's going to look. And then you'd have these doubts in your head and then you think, I'm not going to wear bana now because I can't really do this. You start feeling like that. And I know Singhs as well, like, right, they've been, and then when they come back, they're like, nah, I'm not going to do this because it's awkward or it's this, that, and the other. But I think you get to a certain point where you learn to accept things.
And you develop, like you said, a lot of self-confidence.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think I've seen people... I think one reason why people are drawn to Nihang Singhs so much is the amount of individual self-confidence they have. You don't see anywhere else. The raw... Even in... You go to India, the little kids will look at a policeman in the eye and tell him, I'm going to slap you in the face.
Yeah. And you've got to be the one to hold them back.
Yeah.
Like, literally, you'd be like,
But I think
I'm going to get trouble, please don't. But to them, it's like, what are you going to do to me?
But this is a double-edged sword. I think that's why some people are attracted to it. But when you look back, it's also one thing why people are intimidated and are kind of, and they feel Nihang Singhs are hard to approach. So you've come back from you've met Navjit Singh, you've gone to India, ਤੁਸੀਂ Nihang Singhs ਆ ਜਾਗੇ. At that era and that time, ਕੋਈ ਆਰਤੀ ਆਦਾ ਕੋਈ program ਹੁੰਦੇ ਸੀ ਕੋਈ ਗੁਰੂ ਘਰਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ?
Hardly ever.
Not Guru Cars, man. I remember like, cause
When we did Baba Santa Singh Ji's Barsi.
Yeah, man.
That was a
like
big.
we started off even like doing just them at homes. You know, like here we started doing like that, just inviting people to our houses just to like sort of really like, oh, no committee is really going to let us do it. We had some people that were fine with us, but then certain committee members weren't. Like the Guru Car, the Sevadars, yes, bro, you know, you guys can do this, absolutely no problem. But then we'd have complaints, or literally people say, you know, can't do this, can't do that. What's going on? Like we were saying, just aarti is one thing. Standing up and doing aarti is one thing. Having a jot on a thal is one thing, right?
So yeah,
it was,
and when you put them all together, and then the people just the minds, I don't know what used to happen, but the difference, the time where I saw it kind of change over. So I think there was several different steps. One was obviously Baba Sang. That was it. That was a huge program, and I think that made a big difference.
That was big to see when growing up. Yeah,
I remember growing up seeing the pictures, or sometimes I never used to go.
Still
Look
seeing
at
the pictures,
you're
man,
like, that looks sick.
And you see the darbar packed as well.
And I think that made a difference because people saw that and it becomes more normalized. And then the other things was like Jiddah Fid, we started doing Kali Darbar and some other programs here and there where we started getting big ragis and Sangat would come. They listen to ragis, but then they listen to Artiyat as well, and they're like, you know what, this is actually sick.
Just hearing but just even like Dasam Barney in the darbar, never.
That's true.
You never hear it. You'd hear about it, but never see it happening in front of you.
Was that the time when there was a huge Dasam Panga with was it Darshan Singh came? Was that then?
Darshan, and what's the other geezer's name?
Darshan
What's the other guy's name, man? We went down to the Guru Kara.
It was
him?
Professor Darshan,
Was that time?
Yeah. And Miri Piru Gurdwara.
That's it.
Yeah.
I think when he that all kicked off and he got like basically kicked out, then I think everything started, you know, progressing over the year. Because then Truxal started doing a lot more Dasam Parchar.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
Artiyata has mostly is Dasam, and I think that it made a difference because then you go to Boss Camp. They don't do it with the Jot, but they start doing Artiyata, part Artiyata.
Yeah, that was a big thing to see, man.
Yeah,
big thing to see.
People start getting normalized to the part.
Yeah.
Then I don't remember 4 maybe 5 years ago we went, and they said okay, I see full certain here because I see what to seva karte hain. So we throw the full, and it was Kulwinder Singh from commentary. Nihang Singh. Oh, we started now, and we would just do okay, full sit okay. We're gonna be standing up. Then do we go sit back down? If changani lagda, like I see Nihang Singh, like we should be standing up. So we're like, bro, we're gonna stand up. Through the full. 5 Nihang Singh. Kudrati hai, pata nahi kitho. 5 Nihang Singhs, Barney wale Singh utthe khade ho gaye si. The next year we went. We threw the full. And the whole Sangat saw the 5 Nihang Singhs there, and they were like, yo, that's sick. Yeah. The whole Sangat stood up. No one sat down. And that's how they do it now. And for them, that's the highlight of... So a lot of people say that's the highlight of the camp. Because in our theatre, there is... Koi baka mahal ban janda.
Yeah, absolutely. Because everyone can join in. Everyone joins in. It's something... It's kind of catchy, so you can memorize it kind of easily. So you can it's something you can get involved in quite easily.
You're so close to Maharaj. It's just something about the Barney.
Just standing in front of Maharaj, just
you're
singing.
You're physically doing Maharaj's puja.
That's it.
So
this is what people understand. Like this is going again off topic. Baba Avtar Singh. When Baba Avtar Singh came down, we had this conversation with Babaji as well. And Babaji gave a sick analogy and a sick a point that Sangat, which made a big difference because there's a lot of vade pracharaks that would say that arti arta jotana kaltya because this is content.
Oh, they said that in front of Baba?
No, they would say it.
Oh, right.
And then I was there, and I won't say Janki, but I was like, look, this is a perfect opportunity to ask Babaji because they man Babaji. Sare Babaji nu mande. And Babaji said, no, look, ek sargun swarup da puja, ek nirgun swarup da puja. It's simple gal hai. And we do the same way we do sargun swarup of Chaur Sahab of Guru Sahab. We do the nirgun swarup hunda. Asi sargun swarup wal asi we're going to do the jot as well.
Did see again like I don't want to mention it again, but yeah, like they just associate with like Nadar Singh or like the Hindu side of things. Like chalo, he does what he does in that, like the Shastra Vidya stuff, chalo Vidya. But there was a lot of things with our Hindu mat or whatever. Don't want to say that, you know what I mean?
Hinduphobia.
Exactly. That's
Hinduphobia,
But it's like now we share certain things as well.
We do.
Yeah.
George Sahib predates us.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like,
Jyot isn't just exclusive to us.
Exactly.
George Sahib isn't exclusive to us, you know. A lot of these things, Pulla di Barkha, Hana Chandan, and all of these things are not exclusive
Yeah.
to
Even
us.
the rag. Like,
Yeah.
But you are right, and I think people educating themselves
Yeah.
has made a huge difference as well.
I think also for me as well is like access to katha.
That's huge. Yeah.
Gyani Sher Singh ji's katha, especially for me, you know, that's given me a lot of answers to some of the questions that I had previously. You know? And one thing that stands out is when Gyani ji said basically, if you say, okay, Jyot is Bamana da kam, yeah, Toof is Bamana da kam, everything you say is Bamana da kam, then thode kol reh ki gaya. You know, you're giving everything to them, you ain't got nothing left for yourself.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that was like technology and the age of the internet, basically getting all the resources on the internet. Now anyone can sit at home and listen to all of, you know, Pant Prakash, Suraj Prakash, everything basically is right there.
And it gives ammunition. Like, you know, like I remember being young and worrying that, you know what, if someone asked me this question, I don't know if I can give a good answer. But now these kids have ammunition because they have the internet. They just look it up.
Yeah.
Okay,
There's posts on it. There's so many Instagram pages that like literally give you a breakdown of it now.
Someone come talk to us about it and we can talk about it. We've got 100 X points.
Yeah, we can point them literally in the right direction, not just say it or just I've heard it, but say like, look here, this page, this adhyay here, read it. There you go.
Whereas before, for me, it was kind of like, okay, all these people are telling me, don't do parikarma that way. You know, why are you doing chatka? Yeah, that's wrong, innit? Yeah, you shouldn't do chatka, this and that. Before, it was kind of like, well, jeda kuch tusi, you know, jedi cheez to tusi rokde ho, main ohi cheez karni hai. That's it. Yeah.
It became like that. It became like that.
But now it's more like, okay, I'm slowly, because Sikhi is about that, and it's about learning, right? You're never going to learn enough.
You're never going to master
right?
it.
Even when you're on your deathbed, you're still not going to know enough, right? So for me, it's just like that learning curve. So over time, I've learned certain things. I'm sure in the future, I'm going to learn even more, basically, you know?
And I think that one of the biggest learning curves for Apni Paj when Baba Joginder Singh Ji came.
Yeah.
Because that like, you know, like you have clay. We're all molded. A lot of people are molded into like a pot. But that was the kiln that heated everything up and made it pakka ban janda. So it went from kacha clay to pakka. And I think that's what happened. Like, look, people were like the people that were 50-50, the people that wanted to be Nihang Singhs, when they met Babaji, thought like, yo,
that was it.
Hor kuch nahi banna, bas yahi banna.
That Pratap Ram Babi just like
exactly
is you gotta see it. You gotta witness it, Hana.
Before they came, I was starting to get into the whole like the seva that was given to me. I was starting to get into all of that. Like doing Chatka and learning about it, what's it about kind of thing. Then when Babaji came and I spoke to them, because Navjeet Singh said, yeah, Babaji, this thing wants to be the Chitkai Singh or the Dal. And I hadn't really, you know, I wanted to, but it was kind of like, okay, I'm not 100% sure. And it was like one of them ones like, yeah, you're into it, you've been into it for a couple of years now, but, you know, like, then Babaji basically said, okay, is that what you want to do? I said, Hanji Babaji. And they said, well, basically, if you're going to do that, then make sure this is the Puratan Maryada of the Khalsa Panth. Don't ever forget that. Then, Hana, be pakka in what you're doing. And that's sealed the deal for me. They said, this is a Puratan Maryada of the Khalsa, so you got to make sure that you don't forget this Maryada, that's it. So then that was a button from Babaji. I was just like, that's it then, innit?
I think it's a big thing as well, because like, I think for me at least, like, I think we'll all relate. Once we're told something from a Nihang Singh, whether, like, I didn't ask to see proof.
That's it.
For me, it was like, I've heard it.
Yeah.
That's fine. No problem. Satwachan. No problem, man. I'll take your word for it. Your Khalsa. I get in this day and age where, like, we can't trust this, we can't do that and that. But when you see them, where it comes from, the source.
Yeah.
Like, you can directly link this back to Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj. The whole lineage, the whole line, like literally Jathedar by to Guru Gobind Singh Ji, and just like their caste, not just, Taksal you can link back and everything, but the Nihang Singh Paj, the Guru Ki Ladli Paj, when you see that, and again, like, you know, you see like how you saw them comics and everything like that, and then we saw just like pictures of them and everything, and then you see them in real life. Big difference.
Yeah.
See,
You see them and you just
Is
think,
the original like
it's difficult
the
to
real deal,
explain, man,
basically,
because
you know?
they've got this like they're staying outdoors. They don't have anything, a roof over their head, but they've got this glow on their face.
Yeah.
They've got this, what's the word?
They have this like
Aura.
it's aura, but they also like a
Lovely.
chip on their shoulder. Even though they're living outdoors and like they've got no roof on their head, but they
live like Raja, man.
Yeah,
They
that's
fully live like Raja. And because like you remember there was that YouTube video, Jeev Panjini, Tangini, and then you see these youngsters and you genuinely think, yeah, bro, you've not got five to your name, have you?
Yeah,
like your
literally.
Barnas, you ain't got your
Literally.
Barnas just like
Yeah.
what? Your Damallas all rinsed out. But to them it's like, we're Badshah, they put the man to see. Hana, like,
that's so true. Baba Prem Singh told me this Saki once. And this is when there was ਅਸੀਂ ਹੁਣ ਕੋਡਿੰਗ ਦਾ ਸੇਵਾ ਕਰਦੇ ਸੀ, me and this little kid called Mangal, ਉਹ ਬਾਬਾ ਬਹਾਦਰ ਸਿੰਘ ਦਾ ਫੌਜ ਸੀ, and we came back, we sat down and we were like man gandhe hain like because you
get all the horses here and dust
and the dust, so your bana goes like from blue to kind of like a really dark kind of matte blue, like a Kumbuka sun.
Yeah.
And then so we sat there and this pracharak comes. They go up to Nihang Singhs and there, but like I've never seen it, but they've come in and chitte like saaf sutre bastar. They've got this hujuriye and ha that they just got from Takata Bazaar, and they've come sat down, and I think they brought it for a reason to show like Babaji, so like, you know, asi birthday bande hain, and Babaji clocked straight away, and he sat him down and he said he said further to him, he just blanked him, and he started talking to me, us two, and we're like, look, we live all the time, like no one should. I'd expect Babaji to talk to them. Babaji said, look, Hardeep, main tenu ek sakhi das raha hu. There was a time when a Raja comes to Guru Gobind Singh Ji and says, asi hun namrit chakna, and Guru Gobind Singh Ji said, and he called a Singh from the tabla from the Kore, says, look, tenu dada like banna padna, and then the Raja says, like, are you doing me a favor, or are you cursing me? And then he said to the Singh in the tabla, I said, look, like he was completely messed, and like, he just because come from the horses. He said, look, like, shall I make you like him? Shall I make you like him then? And he's like, are you cursing me, or are you blessing me? And he's like, Allah, main idda hi theek hai, like main ithe baadshah hai, ithe kal jug vich phas ke main ki karna hai. And he says, eh hunda hai jera banda bana zyada saaf hunda,
because they did it the other way as well, didn't it? They sent to that Singh, you know, Raja,
like
and he went, Mara, no,
like,
please no, don't
that.
take this seva away from me. I'm just keeping this seva.
But you're right, like, and when you see the Nihang Singhs and how they live, for me it's amazing when you read Pant Prakash, Suraj Prakash, and you're like,
It paints you a picture. It doesn't paint anyone else in front of you, right? You see a Nihang Singh.
That's it.
The way that they live, the way that they handled situations, everything from A to Z. Because I only heard about Pant Prakash really in the katha of it after I'd met Nihang Singhs. So when I did hear about Pant Prakash, when I listened to the katha, I was like, that's Nihang Singhs. I did nothing else. I was just like,
I think
literally I can relate to this, like what's happened, how it's happening. It's Nihang Singhs.
And this is why so many people, I think, are turning Nihang Singh now. It's because, like you said, age of internet.
All our historic texts, everything.
All. Nihang Singhs.
Nihang Singhs.
It's because age of internet, there's all of the internet. We had Baba Joginder Singh Ji come, we had Baba Avtar Singh Ji come. It's more normalized. The Singhs that were young and now got older, more you know, they're more organized. And then most importantly is that, you know, because of all these things, and when they're reading, the next generation are reading about Sikhi, Pant Prakash, any sort of historical grant, anything, when they're reading about the Khalsa, the only place they see people like that are Hajur Sahib dekh lo ya Dal Pant vich. Dal Pant has the full Sarup. That's the difference. And then when these kids
Hajur
are like,
Sahib's got the Maryada.
Hajur Sahib has the Maryada, and they still have that the Jangi Para. So that's why right now when you look at the Pant, the two most popular places are Hajur Sahib and Dal Pant. For that reason. And I don't think, you know, like people, we had this conversation with another thing, like, is it a phase that people are, you know, becoming Nihang Singh now? I don't think so, man. I honestly don't.
For certain people, because like we were saying, like, you know, like we were saying out of like you get 1,000 people, like we've seen it, like,
that's true.
Because it's the consistency as well, and like we're only here because our elders, like literally like Navjeet Singh Honi, Jagga Honi, you know, Kulvinder Singh, Man Singh, these guys, these elders, they stuck with it. It wasn't they didn't go through it. It wasn't a phase that I saw for them. I literally looked at them day in, day out. Literally, I'd look at the pictures on Instagram, like or at Facebook back then and everything, and just be like, man, this is every day for him.
Yeah.
You know, one thing now he's doing that podcast.
Yeah.
Bro,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Perfect, man. You know, we can relate to that.
You look
Easy to understand.
And then apna Baba Navjeet Singh's running the whole dal.
Yeah.
And consistent. That's the thing. It's consistency.
Yeah.
Like it's not. Oh, I'm gonna go there. Didn't like it. You know what? I'm not going back.
True. You know,
it's like, all right. I've had a rough day. No problem. Maharaj, I want to go again. Maharaj, help me. I'm just gonna give me that ball. I want to go again.
I reckon though also karma di khed hundi hai
absolutely,
as well.
man. Absolutely.
Like if that's what you're meant to be doing, that's
was
what's
Baba. He
gonna
said to
happen,
you, like you're happy in it. Your soul's happy in this bana.
That's it.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's not just a kid, like a thing of okay, whatnot. But Maharaj saying like jidda, you naturally fall into this.
I don't think people are gonna like you're saying. Do you think it's a phase that people are coming into Nihang and it might stop or whatever? I don't think it's gonna stop. Yeah, I reckon people are because our Maharaj vallon hi hai.
Yeah, man.
You know, people coming into Nihang
was saying, Hawa jaman.
Yeah.
Mara ne idhar hi hawa chala leni mein ki bhai sare was Nihang Sings se ji
That's
jaane
it,
sare.
yeah.
I think the evidence will be in 5-10 years because I think both points are really important because people are Nihang Sing Sajna and it's up to them, the next generation. Are they going to run with it? Or are they going to just be like solo Nihang Sings that stay at home? That's fine.
Yeah.
But are they going to be part of something bigger? Koi seva karoge, panada koi seva karuga. Are they, who's going to be the next Gyani Sher Singh?
Yeah.
Who's going to be the next, Kirtani Jatha? Who's
But
going
I
to be the
think
next Wana?
that's-
Jai Singh.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Like I was gonna say is that I don't think it's gonna slow down. I think it's only gonna speed up.
Bilkul.
I reckon more and more people are gonna become Nihang Sings. The only thing I would say is that people do come and go as well,
Sahi gal hai.
right? So koi virla hoga that who has stayed the course, and I think that really comes down to how Gurdit Singh saying is consistency and sticking with it, and above all is just kirpa from Maharaj. It's a blessing, and we're so lucky to be Nihang Singhs and no one
we're
else.
also so lucky to have these experiences because now, after going through all of this, being like one Singh, from one Singh to being 4 to 5 to 6, we're used to being low in numbers.
Yeah,
Sanu quality chahiye quantity nahi.
exactly.
So we're not
Yeah.
bothered. 100 people come, badhiya. If 5 people come, badhiya.
That's it.
Ek banda come, badhiya. Koi bhi nahi aaye,
Yeah,
very badhiya.
that's it, man.
Sanu
Yeah.
koi idna, I think that's a really big lesson that we can learn from a skill that we've got from before. And I think people might take it the wrong. I think people will take that the wrong way as well because when people come, we do sadaqah, but it's not. You've come to our event.
Yeah, you have to prove your salt.
Yeah, exactly. And
Like the seva's there. You know what I mean?
Seva karo.
Because what I was gonna say, like, okay, if you're hearing this and you're thinking, oh yeah, I want to go, but then I might not like it, and then if I go home, am I allowed back? Am I being welcome back? Absolutely.
Yeah,
You can't have an environment like that where people feel, oh, they're judging me in this. Because then what's the point?
that's one good thing
what's
that you
the
said
point?
as well. Like it's
unjudgmental people.
Yeah,
exactly.
literally.
That's exactly what I was gonna
Man,
say.
like you see, like
Yeah.
especially when you go to Punjab and you
Yeah.
see them, like I would stress to you guys that want to get into this, go out to Punjab. I
Yeah.
know some of you guys are young and whatnot, or like the money constraints and everything, because it's not the cheapest thing just to fly out to India and just stay there, yeah. But when you get that mokka, just do ardas to Maharaj. If you want to get into this, do ardas to Maharaj. Maharaj listens. Personal experience, I wanted to do it. Like I said, I had to cry for it, because I was young, I got an overprotective mum, whatnot. So for me, it was just, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this.
That's the way to do it, though.
You got to do it. And then,
Bilkul.
all right, fine, your first experience might not be the greatest. You might think, this is really rough for me. Because, like, I remember when Babaji first come down, Babaji came down with Nihang Singh, and we all met him and everything. Jangiya Singh, wicked. He's literally an inspiration to all of us. Like, we would all think, all right, you want to be a Nihang Singh? Be a Nihang Singh like Nihang.
Yeah.
Like, literally, that's what it was. Like, his Nityanam, his Amritullah, his how Tyar Batyari is, Kamar Ka Sun never coming off, everything. And I remember we sat at Singh's house and we sat in the kitchen, right? And he's just looking around like, oh man, look at you guys. He saw Hoover for the first time. And for him was like, what? Like you just mara enu phero and it just picks up all your mitti. You got a grass cutter, central heating.
Yeah.
Your houses just get warm, like just at a click of a button. Your beds are so soft. You guys have got carpet, like fluffy. You know what I mean? Like, because when we go there, like generally marble or whatever, ita and everything. For him, then I remember him saying to me, he goes, "I get it. I can see why you guys find it hard there." So I think, like you were saying, we've kind of broken that barrier in that sense with them guys, at least in India. They know us that look.
They understand.
They understand. Like, even because I was saying that, at the start, like Bobby used to say that you're just not Nihang Singhs. Straight up to our face, you're not Nihang Singh. And you stand there, be like, okay,
that's a bit harsh.
no, that's, like, you take it personally. You think, what am I going to do? I've got to change up my life. Am I going to explain to my mum, like, yeah, that's it. Like, not going work, quitting my job. I'm
going to live in the garden.
Living in the garden, living in a tent. No, it wasn't. It wasn't. You know what I mean? But then Bobby come around and we're like, you know what? All right, Tika, go to work. Do you think? Come home, get the out. You going out? Get the out. That's prachar. And Bobby said that, like, when you go out shopping, be that Nihang Singh, so people know that they are Nihang Singh. There's Fauj around, and people see that. So yeah, like, if you go, you come here. Here, I feel like you'd get a feeling for it. We can replicate it here to a certain point.
I think we do a good job in Sangrant.
Yeah,
that's probably the
you guys, like, if you want to come down to the Sangrant programs, because it's just an open field now. It's not a residential area or nothing like that. Come down and check it out.
It's the closest thing you're gonna get to it without actually going.
Other countries are doing it now because we're close to, like, obviously the Singhs in, like, I know Navjeet Singh's talking about Italy, Australia. I know some of the Singhs in Canada and America, and them guys, they're starting to do, like, them sort of programs, or outdoors at least, or going Chakravarti at least, and not just within, inside and everything. But yeah, man, come down, check it out. But again, please, if you feel it's rough because it's cold, we're not indoors. You know what I mean? The British weather and everything, or like, oh man, where am I gonna go for jungle pani? Where am I gonna go for Ishnan? Because the Ishnan's like, there's nowhere to warm your water up. It's all Tanda Ishnan, all of those sort of things. It's difficult, but if you want it enough, you will get it.
And it's hard to explain unless you've not gone through this process, and unless you've not done it. It's different. You can't explain. Like,
you gotta experience it.
Sharir ma bhi aukha, but jinna sukh atma nu man nu milda.
But that's what you're saying. Like, when you can relate it back to the Punjab lot. You can see them that this is still nothing, man. We're still cool, man. We've got these, like, plastic sheets that we can do this, bungee cords. We've got all this stuff. We can make a fire really easy. They've got to chop down trees. They've got to get, like, man, it's not easy. And it's the hardest of the hardest.
But that's what the Khalsa Panth is.
Like,
and not having man of it. That's the other thing you see. They don't have that ego side to it.
No,
they'll have that pride. They'll have that.
It's pride is
they'll have
different
that
from ego.
That this is the Khalsa. Say something. But at the same time, they're the nicest people you will ever meet. The pyar, the love, the gyan. Yeah, man.
Because we went to Shidi.
My mum as well. When she met like Baba and she saw all of that here, and she saw generally, she was like, all right.
Yeah, because I'll tell you a funny story about Shidi Bagh. So my daddy dada go in Hujusa for a very long time, so they know they met Nihang Singhs. They're not terrified. But my daddy sister, Masi, all them guys, they're still typical Punjab. They're gonna kidnap you and kill you and chop you into small pieces. So we go to Shidi Bagh. We drive in, like, so this is Shidi Bagh, and right there on the manja is Baba Gurdit Singh ji and all the Singhs. And then they're like, hey, kaun hai? And I'm like, yo, that's the Jathedar. And literally we're this close to him, and they're just looking at us in the car. And like my whole family refuses like a 17-seater, like one of them really big tempo. They're like, we're not getting out. They're gonna kill us. Look how they're looking at us.
No way.
Yo, they're gonna kill us. Look at all of them, because they're all just like, kind of just staring like, what are you guys doing? Like, getting out of the car. And
they all got barshe, they all stand with talwar, and you just think, all right, we're in a remote place right now. All right.
So me and my dada, we went, and we forget you guys then, you stay in the car with us. And we sat there, inna like pyar dikhaya, like, Mata ji the baijo, they got my dadi on another manja, like, got food, got like garam dud, jal, everything. And when my family inside is looking like, yo, they're not killing them. Actually, they look like they're having a good time. And someone cracked, I think Babaji cracked a joke. Everyone started laughing, and they're like, yo, they're having a better time out there. Then they slowly, one by one, they came out, and then they said, Babaji said, like, Babaji si bored at this, like,
that's a Khalsa Pratap as well, though.
That's it.
Mara made it, like, all right, it's a shame that our own people feel like that, our own community might feel like that. And I think one other thing that I want to say, because one thing I've seen with the youth is, guys, be respectful to your parents. Some parents, it's difficult for them to understand this, like what we're saying, they're the typical Punjabi And I've been through that where it wasn't accepted in my house at all. It was, come on man, Gurdit, please come back too. Like I said, Nanak's had upbringing, but I've always had the backing of Babai. I'm so grateful for that because I think you've been there when Babai just says to us, make more Nihang Sings.
Yeah. Straight.
Yeah, we sat here and one thing they'll look at us all and be like, you know, make more Nihang Sings. What more do I want to hear? Like I've got that acceptance because I see them Sampuram Brahmagani Rabda Roop. So when that's like I've seen it where under the gal samajh lende without saying anything, they can give you the answer. So I've had that fear, like, you know, man, growing up, especially like, is this right? Is this wrong? I think I'm doing something wrong. Am I doing something wrong? And then Bobby'd be like, like make more Nihang Sings, and be like, all right. If Bobby's saying that and they know what I'm about, how can this be wrong? How can any of this be wrong? But guys, work with your parents. Some of you guys are young, and I know some of you guys, especially for the younger guys, this is Anna. Be understanding. We've all been through that, and I think it's going to start to get easier and easier in the future at least, because 100%. The programs that are coming about, the prachar that's happening in the UK and all across the world. And we've got Katha now that actually comes from Dalpant, like Gyani Sarinder Singh does Katha, Gyani Gurdit Singh, and all these guys that we've actually got recordings of. No one's heard Katha like that before. You can't find that.
I think it's come from like obscurity into the mainstream now. So I think people's parents will be a bit more easier on them.
Because Babai says that, man. Babai said it to us plenty of times, man. Maa di seva karni.
Yeah.
Mada pita di seva kar.
And if you think
never ignore it, not just be like, wait, just come here, leave your parents, become a Nihang Sing, man. What are you doing? There's a pant.
Yeah. I mean, if you didn't do that, and if I didn't do that either, they would never have accepted it.
Yeah,
ever.
Exactly.
Like if I turned around to my family who've like in a like they've done so much for me, and I turned around,
but you'll never have that peace as well, innit? Like you'll always think you like, oh yeah, I've done it, or I'm cool, I'm this, that, and the other. But causing a problem within your house, how are you ever going to be at peace with yourself? Like you're going to have kids one day. Imagine your kid just pulled that on you, like, you know what? Forget you. I know you raised me. I know you've done everything for me in my life. I forget you.
There's a way, the right and wrong way.
There's a tariqa in doing it, man. Do your ardas, guys. You know, genuinely be like, and if you're gonna do it properly. Don't just focus on that, the things on the outside. Like I'm just gonna wear barna, I'm just gonna wear chaggi all the time, and I'm just gonna like wear a talwar like this, and just do these sort of things. Guys, get on your nithanim. Get on your simran. Yeah. Show your parents that I'm doing both. It like, all right, because I think we've all spoken about like the look of it and everything, but there's the other side, Hana. The underli gal hai na ki khojo under, like look within yourselves, and what are you looking within to find that Paramatma, and that Paramatma is found through Naam Abhyas and Gurbani Abhyas, and you see that from Baba Ji. It's not just that case of Baba Ji Nihang Sing, they wear Barna, you know, they just they keep them Riyada. Nah, their whole message is they Gurbani nal juro, understand it. Mool mantra de Abhyas. Baba be like literally Amritullah thada, like your nickname 3-4 घंटे. Baba's thing is swas naam japna, naam de pandare mangane. It goes hand in hand, man. So guys, it's not a case of I'm the look side of things or any of that. Get on your nit and start doing your santya.
And I think if you do that, you're gonna get less problems with your family. If you start on
automatically, Mara just have your back.
And not your family. There's no way. Unless you're like your family, and you're not gonna get Harnaksh as your father, who's gonna be like, you know what, you're doing Waiguru in the morning, off with your head. It's not gonna happen. But if you start taking them steps, look, I'm gonna be in Nihang Sing. That means I'm not the first thing. Like your family starts kicking off. Okay, look, I'm not gonna. That doesn't mean I'm gonna start like doing dig every day. What it does mean I'm gonna start waking up Amritullah and doing, a Simran. That's step number one.
Even if I do have dig, I can still do Simran, and it connects me to that Simran. It's a tool.
And you
use it, don't abuse it.
I was quite lucky in that sense that my parents, they went against me being Nihang Sing. The big thing I think was doing Chatka, the first few times especially. So they went against it. They were like, oh, we understand it, but it's still quite a shock, isn't it?
Of course, it's a violent
but then I think they started seeing that, okay, well, when he was vegetarian, his nickname was all over the place, right? And I I wasn't bad necessarily, but
You weren't disciplined.
I wasn't disciplined. Yeah, right. So then they saw that, okay, since he started his seva, his Nitnem is becoming more and more consistent, to a point where Maharaj Kripa is pretty steady now and stable. And all the rest of it, like, the discipline that I've learned from the Dal, you can apply it to the rest of your life as well. So to your work, to your studies, whatever. So, yeah, I think my story was slightly different because my lot weren't, they were like, okay, Tika, you want to be a Nihang Sing, that's fine. But it was just more like, okay, so you want to start eating meat now, basically, okay. And not only do you want to eat meat, you want to kill it yourself, But then when they started saying that, okay, no, wait, he has to do Chandi Diwar first. He does his Nitnem every day.
Get done, yeah.
It's not an easy thing as people just think, that
preparation. How long it take you?
It gets rid of that.
And how easy is it just to go to a shop and be like, we do it. That's it. Oh, cool.
That's how people see it. They think, they want to eat meat because they like the taste. Why would someone make it so difficult?
Yeah.
And the other thing with me, that topic as well, Jeev, that's why, or this, that, and the other, but
it's been blown out the water.
No, or even that, man. Alright, we make aloo gobi, but we don't put any loon in, don't put any mirch in, don't put any masala in. You're gonna be like, what's that? Same thing with this, but I don't care how you make it.
If you
ain't got a bit of salt and pepper, or you ain't got some masala on that as well, you're gonna be like,
and it goes back to your point of fake meat.
Yeah.
Just jeev that's why you're having
exactly.
Fake meat.
That's it. Because you want it to taste like meat, but you don't want to do the
you want it to look like meat, you want it to smell like meat, you want it like even the wording of it is like veggie bacon, you know.
But I think there's still that misconception out there that Nihang Singhs just go to shop and eat meat, but that's it couldn't be further from the truth, basically. And that's completely forbidden. And people who do that aren't Nihang Singhs.
100%.
Simple
100%.
as that.
And Baba Santa Singh says in one of the audio things, you can't even question it. Ki बाहर जाके दुकान पे मीट लेके खाना क्षत्रिय वाला काम नहीं.
Exactly.
ये साडा काम नहीं.
Not a powerful thing, man. But guys, the other thing is that we live in a world where people do everything.
Yeah.
I know. We know that we live in the real world. If you do see that, don't let it put you off.
Yeah.
I know.
True.
You gotta have that faith in the Khalsa. The original Khalsa is out there, and they follow it to the T.
Don't let it put you off, and also don't get influenced as well just by seeing one. If some geezer is wearing Barney and he does that, just say. Don't just think, oh yeah, okay, he's doing it, so it's alright for me to do it. Do your research. Biggest thing I would say is find a Mahapurush to follow. Yeah. Everyone in the Dal pretty much is a Mahapurush anyway. You could follow any of them, But with the guidance of a Sant, you ain't gonna go wrong.
It's so important to have a Sant in your life to guide you to guide you, because they're that example of Gurbani. They've done that. They've not just done it, but they're doing it, right? And you see that example, okay, man. Yeah, I can see that Pratap. I can see that Santok in them. I can see the gun that Gurbani and Nama Bias is giving them. And you can feel it. And guys, you will feel it when you're with us. Actually, Sampura Mahapurush, you will feel it, guys. It won't just be a question. So it's important for you to find a guide that can take you on that journey as well and be that example for you. There's plenty of Pakandis out there, like Makhan Shah Labana had to go through how many fake gurus to find the one asli guru that read his mind. Ki bhai, you said you'd give this much money. Andali gal samjh li mara ne, but he had to still go through so many fake ones to get to the real one. So guys, you'll come across Pakandis, you'll come across guys that have got the pace and the look and the talk as well, but you'll know it.
Bilkul. And I think for those that are living in isolated places where you might not be able to go to India or meet Mahapurush, Pant Prakash, you read your history, man. It's the best. If you can't do Sangat physically, when you read the history of the Khalsa, you're doing Sangat with the Khalsa just by watching. Your third person is like watching a movie, but even better because you're it's not fake.
Yeah.
It's the truth. So
like
read
even
Pant
like where
Prakash.
it comes from, you'll get the introduction from Gyani Sher Singh,
That's it.
like the complete where is this coming from? It's not just written by someone.
Yeah.
Who's written it? What lineage is he from? Why did it need to be written? Who who wanted it to be written in the first place and all of that.
Yeah.
So,
and you understand.
Going back to growing up as Nihang Sings in the UK, so we've gone from 10 years ago, 15 years ago, Nihang Sings, very, people having a very bad outlook on Nihang Sings.
Yeah.
Then everything's progressed and we've got to Baba Avtar Singh Ji coming. So Baba Avtar Singh Ji comes, who's someone who they eat meat, but people man him as Mahpurk. And I think when people saw that, you know what, there's someone who is respected, but they still eat meat and they still have day.
Well, it's like, you know, they enforce that मर्यादा कि वे करना है है ना कि 10 घंटा भोग पे कि तुसी
चटका करना
हाँ चटंगे लेके आओ
मैं हजूर साहब आप देखिया डले जाके दे
it's gotta happen, guys. It's not a case of like, oh yes, there's rules, rules, regulations, everything. What time something needs to happen is not just there's no randomness here.
But I think that broke the barrier, so people started, you know
it opened a lot of people's eyes, man. A lot, especially like with Buddha, because Buddha, like its history, like a lot of people don't like the name Baba Santa Singh Ji. And I shan make Roy Mahapur Buddha. They always think, oh, this, that, and the other, and whatnot. Oh, yeah, this, that, or Nihang Singhs. They just think Nihang Singhs that. Baba Avtar Singh Ji come, and they lived that same life.
Yeah.
Hana? You ask Baba Avtar Singh about Baba Santa Singh and see what they've got to say.
Yeah.
Hana? Baba Daya Singh Ji, when they were about and what they had to say. The whole dal comes from Buddha Dal.
That's it. Yeah. Nishan Sabuto, eh?
All of it. So, guys, look, just try and understand that.
And I think that brought the UK Sangat to another level. And now,
I think it humbled them too. Like a lot of people that like you know, we used to get them looks out. Nyanga, and all like that, or like, oh yeah, Baba, you know, but they go whatever. We're like, Baba be like, re lao, it's time. Lao bhai, 2 time laune hai.
Yeah.
Hana, idana 10 grandh khand paat, sahaj paat, chadange leke aao, hana tilak lao. Important things to follow, man. Like we've been told that from Bobby from day one.
Yeah.
But then no one listened to us. No one cared.
Yeah.
We would do it and be like, oh, stupid Nihang Sings or whatever. They follow whatever or Tika. Yeah. And Baba Avtar Singh Ji come because I think obviously a lot of people have more satkar for him.
Because they've got the links to, you know, the UK Sings, Sangat and everything. They've got the links there. So
Baba Bidhi Chandi, so they see that as a huge thing, which is huge, right? It is. But they just got that cared as well. They've got that Pratap, that kid with the Sangat.
I think
as well.
when Baba Joginder Singh Ji came, I think a lot of the UK Sangat didn't. It was only like,
it wasn't appreciated. I feel like.
Yeah,
I don't think it's all the UK's fault though. Back then, we didn't have social media like how we do now.
Well, we didn't know what we were doing. We didn't know what we were doing. We had Pant Pasha come down.
Yeah,
guys, Pant Pasha title isn't just like, you know what I mean. Some people hear that and be like, huh, what?
Yeah.
Guys, here, find out the things about Shanme Karori, what that means, what the position that Buddha Dal is, the month, the head of that come down here and then live the way that they live. Bro,
but I think when Baba Joginder Singh Ji came, they didn't have that same links with like the UK youth, like you know, the Sikhs basically, Taksalis and everybody. They didn't have that same link as Baba Avtar Singh Ji had. So when Baba Joginder Singh Ji came, I think a lot of the Taksali lot didn't really, you know, I don't know how to explain it, but they didn't take on board all of the message or whatever kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like the message didn't come across kind of thing. But with Baba Avtar Singh Ji, because they already had that link, and then when Baba Avtar Singh Ji comes and says the same thing as everything that Baba Joginder Singh Ji, you know, says and believes and the way they live, then they couldn't say that, oh, you know, we don't believe in this then.
They had to go along with the flow. Like, yeah, we've been doing this, we've been seeing this. Then we met Baba Avtar Singh. Baba Avtar Singh actually come and see us when we were like do a pada somewhere. Baba Kartar Singh, Santa Baba Kartar Singh Ji Barsi and everything. Yeah. They come down to literally see us and like sit with us, we get manja and everything. And Baba lao ragre phir.
Yeah. So I think it changed from these Nihang Singhs doing all these things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the for me the difference I see is when Baba Avtar Singh Ji came, he might, even though Babaji might not have the links, the people who he called him down had the links within the Sangat anyway. When we called Baba Joginder Singh Ji down, I think we were still just young, and we still didn't have them links within the Sangat. So we didn't have a program. We didn't bring him to Prakash, or we didn't do. And saying that, Babaji didn't want to.
Yeah,
Babaji is not that type of person.
They're not. Yeah, they're not.
Babaji Raji just to sit there all day, not talk, Japanam all day.
That's it.
That's what people got to understand. Like you'll only see that. Like they think, oh, Babi the Bharata hai, or they like going out.
No,
Babi don't like leaving Rakwa.
Yeah.
Babi don't go to weddings. You know, none of that sort of stuff. Even if you've seen a picture, Babi don't really go, man.
It was very different to Baba Avtar Singh ji.
Yeah.
And it absolutely is good. It's not comparing or saying, oh, one does this, one does that. Nah. Different roles.
That's it, yeah.
Baba Prem Singh was completely different.
Absolutely.
Baba Bahadur Singh is completely different.
Absolutely.
Baba Bahadur Singh, you hear them stories completely different. You caught someone stealing and you shot him. Like there's so many. You don't see Baba Prem Singh wouldn't do that. They would, have a. There's a Saki of I was there, and someone stole from the Golak Mata Sahib. They caught the guy, brought him. They were beating him. They were gonna kill him. And Baba Prem Singh said, like, stopped him and sat him down and said, like, why are you gonna kill him? He said he stole from the Golak. He said that Mata Daiya, Mata Da Pote. It wasn't your money. So but even you to do, and but where Baba Bahadur Singh found out the exact same thing, like in another situation, he called him in. He saw a video of him stealing. Someone showed him the video and shot him. He just walked in, didn't koi kuch nahi, bang.
But this is a perfect example of even if two Mahapurush do totally opposite things, they're both right.
Yeah.
So
in both scenarios, they both are right.
That's it.
But so we've gone to Baba Avtar Singh ji. Now from that period to now, I think we've seen just like a rocket. We've got Sangrant programs happening. We've got the P6 Academy, they're doing great.
Yep.
We've got this podcast. We've got Aman Singh doing his podcast.
Yep.
We've got so many
Kulwinder Singh commentary, constant programs. Yep.
He's got
Darbar, Dasam Darbar, Sarlo Darbar.
Got Nihang Sings.
Yeah, man.
Like so much is
just to hear that name.
Yeah.
Nihang
just hear the
Sings,
name, yeah. And I think it's just exploding now. But where do you see like us in 10 years?
I would say we have a Shawnee, have land, and kind of running the same care that we run on Sangrand, but like probably not just on Sangrand.
Yeah, man.
I would say.
Like a pakka
That in 10 years is, I think that's, I think that can be achieved in that time.
Yeah, 100%. I think even shorter, to be fair.
Yeah.
Because I think right now we've got the infrastructure. I think we're one of the first organizations to get safeguarding procedures. Like Burdal UK are the first organization to have the safeguarding procedure done. We had it already, but now it's been formalized. DBS checks done. I think in that sense we're ahead of the game.
Yes.
And where we're going, we've got.
I think we've been strict on that sort of stuff from day one.
But we've got so much grief for it though. Like this is what, and again, we're going back why people had problems with this. We'd say, okay, Bibiyan can't come after 8, before 8. Raat nu koi Bibiyan nahi aa sakta. You'd get grief for that. People say, why are you making farq on it?
Like they've turned it into like a oh, you don't like Bibiyan. No.
It was not that.
No. Like you said, like what was it for us? Is like we have Bibiyan doing the Mool Mantra roll.
Yeah.
And it's not just we're just gonna have just the Singhs can only do the Mool Mantra roll and all of that. Nah, man. Bibiyan sisters get involved.
It's basic safeguarding. We're living out in a field. We don't know who's coming, who's going.
There's common sense in it.
There's no doors, there's no locks.
No. You have an Ishnan outdoors.
The Singhs literally doing Ishnan outside. Yeah. They're not going to feel comfortable with Bibiyan around.
If Bibiyan do stay, where are they going to do Ishnan then?
That's it. Where they going to go to the bathroom?
How are you going to do all of that? No, it's just common sense approach to things.
And now people we've had these conversations with people
really,
saying,
you got to be real.
Yeah.
Things happen. Not just things happen. I don't want to just say that, but
yeah, I know what you mean.
We know what we mean.
Yeah.
So to protect everyone,
don't even give it the opportunity to happen.
Like we know each other, but we don't know Plana. We don't know this guy. We don't know that guy. We don't know her. We don't know this. They leave them alone. Nighttime, whatnot. Wait, no one can point a finger at us and be like, "You guys did this." No, we're thinking about everyone as a whole.
Yeah.
And this Maryada, we didn't just think of it. Dal Panta
you go Dal Panta, guys, you'll see the same thing. Nighttime,
it's not going to be a thing like, they'll be like, look, it is Hare Marda, man. There's all Singhs there, man. You're not going to find just, the Bibiyan stay there. If they do, they'll be like, what?
Yeah.
And not just, they want to one side or whatnot, but you know what I mean?
Yeah. But, then pura seva kar sakde. But there's safeguarding procedures, and I think we've had them in place. It's not a big shock to us. We've got it formally written up. We're ready for Shawnee. With I think everything's ready. We've got it's Maharaj ne sanu Hujragi and jitna seva ditta. Gurdit Singh got Devge Singh got Chutkai Singh got everything's in place. And I think you're going forward. Shawnee 100%. I see that going forward. But I see so much more. The documentary killed it.
Brilliant.
I think that more than anything is like people might not be expecting it or just wanted to see. They made a documentary. Like, let me just click on it.
It's almost 100,000 people.
Yeah.
I think the level of professionalism of the production of that documentary was really good. That's what kind of surprised me in a good way. That wow, they've done it in such a professional way.
These things are educated, man. Like, you know, they know how to use these certain tools and how to do and how to promote properly.
The Singhs are sick as well.
Yeah.
That's the thing, because you get a camera and you just record what they do every day. Record it. It's gonna go viral because you don't see that. Like you said, you don't see that anywhere else.
Yeah.
Who else? Like it was like some Singhs wanted to get their Shnan recorded, but obviously we didn't want to. Like have things like some Singhs didn't feel comfortable having like getting their video of the Shnan being made viral. But who else? Where else are you gonna see? Barney, when your Singhs waking up is -5 degrees. There's literally ice, and you're throwing.
There's that bit in that bit in the documentary where they're like Kashari are just
a few minutes after you just put it up and it just freezes.
It's just frozen and it's turned into cardboard and what.
But where else are you gonna see that?
Yeah.
Like, what I want to say, like, you know, like in 10 years, like you know that. But we've done Chakarati in the UK, Hana. That become more.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's true.
You know, even talking about the remote places, hit those remote places. Start doing Amrit and Chars in those remote places. Start doing a counterparts in those remote places. Like literally, the Dal is in India, right? They go place to place to place.
You've got your headquarters, and then you've got
like we even heard it from like when Baba Khadak Singh Mahampur said in there that we only really go to a place where Jitte Sanu belong.
Yeah.
So there is that, guys. It's not just we're gonna willy nilly just show up anywhere and just be like, we're here, guys.
Yeah.
Respect us. No, that's Hankari. No, guys, we work with everyone. Satakarna sare nal. But Khalsa is the Khalsa. So where you call the Fauj over and whatnot, there's certain things, certain ways and everything. But yeah, that's what I want to see in the in 10 years, less than 10 years, whatever. But start seeing that whole Chakurati pattern in the UK where it gets the British government start realizing, they are going.
They've started trying to liaise with you know Burdal. We went to a Sikh Defense Network. They wanted to do
the army.
Train him. Train him with you know swords and whatnot. And I think going forward, I think that's the next thing going forward. And look, I see how the Singhs that are taking Shastra, they are very seriously now. Hopefully in a few years we're good enough where we can, this skill is dispersed, and the next generation, they're not just Singhs that can fight with the Loaram, but if they want to fight with the hands, they'll knock your head off. They can wrestle, they can do all these things, because wrestling was a big thing in the Panth as well. It's gone, but hope it's coming back. You look at Nihang Singh, he wrestles. There's a lot of things that started wrestling. I've started wrestling, but my main thing is boxing and Shastra Vidya. But all these things, they're building up. The skill set within the Panth is building up, and I think it's exciting times, man.
Yep.
Because it's the Sampurna thing, isn't it? It's not just the one side, or like, I know some people just have the Bhakti, don't have the Shakti. Khalsa is the whole picture, the A to Z.
Like, look, our last Jor Mele, we had Kode as well. And that, growing up is a dream. You know, like to have a Nihang Sing program, ote loho langar hoga, ote ragde chalde ithe part.
That's a big thing, having our own langar, man. Like
but that's a big thing as well.
Absolutely, man. Our own langar.
It's not just with gas.
No.
Loho langar.
We get our own balan, we make our own little low langar kid and whatnot. And make Singh saja their own langar.
See, all these things, right now they seem like small victories, but back then they
weren't being done.
Yeah, they just weren't being done. The big milestones. And when we're gonna look back at this in like when we're 50, 60, 70. It's going to be at the house, man. There's no two ways about it. With the first Nishan Saabs, the first Jor Mille, the first Chakravarti, Code Sawari, Hasi Hon Sekade.
Like, you know, you were saying before, like you were saying, we're getting invited to places now.
Yeah.
People are putting us forward saying, guys, We want you guys to come here.
Yeah.
We have a program this date.
Yeah.
We want you guys to come. But well, Belline would be like, oh, there's a program.
Don't come.
Don't come. Should we go though? Should we make a point of going?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Or whatnot. But
and
now,
if you're gonna go, bro, fauj tayar ho jo.
now it's the other way. We're literally Nagar Kirtans, you know, Reading Sangat and what say to apani ki bhai tusi apne nishan nagare leke aao, be the ones at front.
Do you think Delhi's made a difference as well, the Kisan Morcha?
Oh, I think big time.
Man. Big time, man.
Because it was Nihang Singhs running the whole kid basically there.
Breaking the barriers,
breaking barriers, going.
That's what they do every day, though. That's what for us.
It's nothing new. New that this
Punge with police
happen.
officers, no problem, man.
Yeah.
Chop a police officer's hand off, no problem, man.
And
Smack
taking
a police
over
officer,
the
no problem.
Lal Killa is not the first time they've done it. It's the 19th time. So, so I think that made a big difference. I didn't see any of the vegan Fauj doing much. It was just the Shastra Tari, Masahari Nihang Sing Fauj doing it. So
and you see it when you watch the videos. I still remember this one video of a Nihang Sing on a horse, and he's going pura chal denal talwar on his modda.
That went so far. Oh,
and
man.
And you like, bro, he's Raje Wangat Torda, and all the
he could get shot any moment, but he ain't got a figure in the world. He
and all the Sangat are gassed. They were like, and when you read our history, you read I read English journals on how they fought the Anglo-Sikh wars, and they say the Sikhs are fighting, but when these Akalis come, they're like demonic beings, and I don't know what happened
ferocious.
to the Sikhs. The Sikhs get gassed, and they all start fighting even harder. And that's when you see that thing, and you see all the other guys are like, we've got this guy.
Just to hear these, you're hearing Katha where they say they'd get hit by arrows, they'd make a point of ripping the arrows and breaking them and be like, here's your arrow, mate. You know what I mean?
There's one where Nihang Singh gets stabbed with the end of a bayonet, and he grabs it, pulls it in, so he can't take he's got no shastar. He takes out the talwar and takes the guy's head off. The other guy shaheed as well.
They're happy to die, man. That's the other thing. Like, they know कि भाई मारी लाडली फौज है. Is a reason why it's called लाडली फौज. It's a फौज. उन्हें तो काम में ही है मैं कि भाई जंग करो भाई ते गम मारो.
Happy Singh, Baba Bahadur Singh's son. He'd say this same thing like mar jange maar denge chikdi gall hai. And he literally lived like that. And Baba Bahadur Singh lived like that. I still remember on the coming back, and I was just scrolling through Instagram, and I'm like, happy. What's he done? Oh, he's chopped someone's hand off. Like obviously, I think what's happened? They're going to a car accident. He's put a hand on him. And he's like,
he said he put a hand on his dara or literally like trying to touch his face or something like that.
That's it. Like, that's a death sentence.
That's the thing, guys. You gotta understand. Like, it's not just a case of he just touched his face and he cut him. No, he don't see himself like that. Not just to him, but Mara tells her, "Babe, look at who you are."
That's what they don't think you're touching
not
me.
just you're not just some Mara Mota, whatnot, this and the other. Tum Badshah, bhai, tum Badshah hai, man, tum. How are you gonna let someone literally touch your dara, your damal or anything like that? But leave a mark on him.
I mean, if someone grabs your dastar, they're not grabbing your dastar.
Where did you get the star from exactly, man?
Exactly.
And if you're gonna tie the malla, you got a Judgement to uphold that, man.
Guys, people will see you like that, man. When you dress a certain way, you're expected.
100%. So if anything happens, they look at you.
Yeah.
And they'll be like,
come forward.
Yeah, do something.
Come, please. What's going on? And if you can't, guys,
But it's exciting times. I think going forward, maybe we'll have other podcasts, but I think going forward, maybe in 2 years, it'd be nice to have this exact same podcast to see where we've come. Maybe next year, do like a yearly progress check.
That'd be good, man.
But, thanks for coming onto the podcast.
Thanks for like I said, when you first told me about this, when I heard about the whole podcast thing, I was like, what?
Yeah,
I was open with him. I was kind of like, oh, we need to do a podcast. Nihang Singh, man, we're going to keep doing what we're doing. Yeah. But then when we start talking about I was kind of passionate about it. I was like, nah, man, people need to hear this. Like, guys, approach us, man. We are approachable. Like, certain scenarios where we may look serious or we're just in the moment and whatnot. Or, okay, this, that, and the other. And what. But now, guys, the youngsters, whatnot, the elders, come forward, man. This is your punt. Take care of it.
And when you're at programs, you look stressed or like serious. We're gonna touch on that on another series on Sangrand of what are the Judgement buddies, what are the Singhs doing, and normally it's like the fact that they've had 2-3 hours sleep and they're just seva kari jande, and you got your pera to sam, so you're like, okay, I need to, you know, do this. This is my better. I can't.
Certain time, certain
So
things, certain way.
For them,
everything.
this guy doesn't look like he's approachable because he's seva karta hai, but it's not the fact that they don't want to.
He's just running around. He's just running around. That's all he's just trying to make sure, yo, like, what's, you know.
Exactly.
It's, yeah.
But thank you guys again. And
That's good, man.
we'll talk to you soon.
ਚੰਗਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ ਕਰ ਜਾਵੇ ਨਿਹਾਲ ਹੋ ਜਾਵੇ ਸ਼ਹੀਦਾਂ ਸਿੰਘਾਂ ਦੇ ਮਨ ਨੂੰ ਭਾਵੇ ਸਤਿ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ ਗੁਰੂ ਦੇਖਦੇ ਫਤਿਹ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ